India's, of course, it's the country now with the highest population. Anything you choose to do, if you can communicate well, it'll make you a better professional. Because as an engineer, you may have to share your ideas. As an architect, you may have to say, this is how I'd like the building to be.
The advancement of technology is something very important. And how do you think that it empowers our students?
If you can communicate confidently, your life will be better.
Agree.
If you think, I'd like to do that, but I'm scared to say it. I really wish I could do that, but how can I tell my family? I'd like to make friends with that person, but no, they may not. If you can't communicate, it affects your personal life as well.
Yes. Hi, hello, namaste to one and all watching here. My name is Tanish. I'm your host for today's episode. Today's episode is about something that is very interesting, and it is something that requires dedication, focus, and passion. And it's nothing else than journalism. And that is why today we have one of the most renowned journalists, Mrs. Maya Sharma. She is an independent journalist, animal lover, and a writer. Welcome to Vox Studio, ma'am.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. Could you tell about yourself?
Well, that's a big question. Like you said, I'm an animal lover. I've been a journalist now for over 30 years. I studied in many different countries, in England, in Zambia, then India, 1 year in America. So it's been a nice exposure that way.
Wow.
Which made me very interested in the world itself. It's very interesting. As a child, I loved reading. I used to be always in the middle of a book, which I think also made me interested in many different subjects. I try to read a lot now as well. Somehow, it doesn't happen quite as much. But I do still love reading. I love films. I enjoy interacting with students as well. I like to listen to all of you young ones to hear your ideas and your take on the world. So, yes, I think I'm a curious human being. And I believe that kindness is very important to humans, to animals, and also to ourselves.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, that is 100% correct with what I agree. And why did you choose journalism? And as you're there since the first, did you face any criticism?
Not really, no. I chose journalism almost by accident. It's not as if when I was your age or when I want to become a journalist. Because I liked animals, I actually studied science in BSc.
Okay.
Chemistry, botany, zoology. I studied zoology because I thought it would bring me close to animals. But it was very sad. All we did with animals was dissection and cutting them up. So I thought then I'll do my MSc zoology. And I actually went to take the MSc zoology forms. But then a friend of mine had studied mass communication. Okay. I thought, okay, let me try that also. It was very random. I used to read the newspapers. I used to watch the news. But it was as random as that. It was not like a childhood dream or something. I decided to try for the mass communication course. I got in. And no regrets. I mean, it's been over 30 years. So if I'd hated it, I'd have left. But it was by chance, but I really liked it.
Incredible. And as we all know that the advancement of technology is something very important. And how do you think that it empowers our students?
I think the very fact that you could be doing this recording in this room, in your school, it makes it so much more accessible. If you look at the size of the camera that we're using, it's this big. When we started out, the cameras were like this. They were huge. It took a strong person to carry it. And we even had, when I was working in Doordarshan, there'd be a recorder. From the camera line would go into a heavy equipment, a recording equipment, like a VCR, an old VCR. Somebody would have to carry that. Then the lights were so big and somebody had to carry those lights. Whereas you see these neat little lights we're using, it makes it so much more accessible. So that is one way technology helps. And the very fact that, you'll be doing your editing, you're looking at a computer, everything is so much faster and neater now.
Yes.
So it makes it more accessible. So that way, I think technology will help you in your podcast.
Yes, I completely agree. And how do you think podcast, like itself, like it separately, would actually help in all the ways to children in their future, present?
I think it's a very important thing because when I was at school, hundreds of years ago, when I was at school, it was very much what the teacher says. And the students would sit, listen. maybe make notes. The student's voice may be when the teacher asked a question. What is the capital of this country? Or what is, then the hands would go up, that's when the student's voice was heard. Then gradually the education style changed a little bit, and students were also asked to present. Like, can you present on tropical forests? Or you present on how wheat is grown or something. Yeah. But even then, it was more, it's a very good development. But what we really need is the students' voices as well. For two reasons. One is personal. If you can communicate confidently, your life will be better.
Agree.
If you think, I'd like to do that, but I'm scared to say it. I really wish I could do that, but how can I tell my family? I'd like to make friends with that person, but no, they may not. If you can't communicate, it affects your personal life as well.
Yes.
And professionally as well, whatever you choose to do, from teaching to medicine to journalism, obviously, but engineering, anything you choose to do, if you can communicate well, it'll make you a better professional. Because as an engineer, you may have to share your ideas. As an architect, you may have to say, this is how I'd like the building to be. So even if you have those great ideas, but you can't get them out.
Yes.
Whereas podcasting will help you still. It'll help you communicate. It'll help you develop the skill. Some of you, like I think yourself, you have it inside of you. But for the other students, I'm sure there are many students who are shy or feel a little awkward. It'll help them also develop the skills. And this is a safe space.
Yes.
It's a quiet little safe space. So it'll help them learn to communicate better, which is always a very good thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it on like that, exactly, because many students can communicate. Yeah, nice. And as you have reported in diverse range of topics, and how do you see the role of India evolve in social and economic changes
in the world? Well, India's, of course, it's the country now with the highest population. So much of the world belongs to India. Many of the people in the world are Indians. I think it's about 1/6 or something like that. It's a huge proportion of the world is Indian. So obviously, what we feel, what we do, how we behave is very important to have an impact on the world. Economically, we're a very big market.
Yeah.
Which is why you might have observed in the news recently, there's all these trade deals going on with the United Kingdom, discussions with America, competition with China, because India is a very big market.
Yeah.
Whether it's phones, whether it's anything, people in India are buying a lot. Clothes, food, there's a lot of required here. So it's a very big market, which makes it important for the world. It's also a very big producer because people here work a lot. They work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we're now able to produce enough food for the over 1.4 billion people here. So its production is also very important. Lots of Indian goods go across the world. There is a little bit of trouble now with the tariffs in the United States, but lots of Indian products also go to the world. So it's a very, very big player, and it's only growing in importance as the days go by.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, this gave me awareness. From your experience of covering both national and international events, how do you see the challenges between India and other regions and nations?
When it comes to, I think India's huge population is both an asset and a challenge. It's an asset because it's a very young country. Most of the population is under the age of 30. So it's a very young, vibrant country. So that gives it people who can do the work, who can develop things, who can explore new things. It's very important. Many of what we call the developed countries, the richer countries, are facing this problem because much of the population is older. It's a much older population, so they may not be producing as much as they were when they were younger. So it changes the economic balance. And India's population, I mean, we have people to do everything. Agriculture, teach. I mean, there are so many people, so that's a positive thing. The challenge is, again, the numbers. Not everybody who wants to become a doctor can become a doctor. It's very competitive. Not everybody is finding a job because there are so many skilled applicants for the same job. Whether it's a highly skilled job like a software worker or something, or whether it's a simpler job like you'll find so many people applying for the job of a security guard when there may only be one post, because that is also a difficulty. Public transport, we find trains are crowded, buses are crowded, roads are crowded, Bangalore traffic is famous. So that is also a challenge. So that is India's big challenge, I think, is its population. Abroad, there are other challenges. For example, like I said, the aging population, and also different government systems work differently. Like there are some countries with, there are different political systems, and so far democracy, it's not perfect, but democracy seems to be the best.
Yeah.
It gives a voice to everybody. But there are some countries which are not democracies, where women are suppressed, or where people of a certain religion are suppressed. So those are challenges which are faced across the world.
Do you think these challenges could affect the students?
I think they could. I think they could, because right now you're in a good school. You have caring families who are looking after you and all that. When you get into the workspace, even if you're very good, you may have the challenges of finding a job. So you need to keep your confidence levels high, not kind of take it personally, I didn't get a job immediately. It doesn't mean that you're not good. It may mean that there's a lot of pressure on the work environment. It could affect you in your daily life when you're traveling home. Maybe most of you live close to school. But right now in Bengaluru, if you only need to travel half an hour, that's not bad. But you should actually ideally be traveling only 5-10 minutes to go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of time of young people is spent in their school bus, commuting to school, going home to school. Again, with the population, is there space around your home to play? Is there space in your school to play? Here there is, but not all schools. Some schools open onto the road. Play areas for children, space, fresh air, clean water. These are ways which infect everyone, especially children. In fact, especially children are impacted by this. Because if you can have a healthy environment growing up, it'll help you a lot.
Yes. And could you tell the difference between a journalist and a writer?
A journalist is also a writer. And in some ways, a writer is also a journalist. The way one usually defines it is, as a journalist, you'll be talking about facts.
Yes.
You should be talking about this happened. This is why it happened. This is what might happen next. You're basing it on the reality. If you're a journalist and you're talking about, say, the traffic in Bangalore, and you're saying the population of the city has grown this much, these are facts.
Yeah.
There are 1,500 vehicles coming on the road every single day, new vehicles. That's a fact. The roads are not great. That's a fact. You can talk about all that.
Yes.
If you're a writer, if you're writing about it, you may write it in a different way.
Well,
you may make it fiction. You may say that people stopped using roads. They began to learn how to fly. Or, it could be anything.
Yeah.
A writer could use their imagination more. The journalist uses their imagination in order to feel empathy, but they must stick to the facts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I must use my imagination. What is it like to live in that slum? To not have regular water? You must be able to use your imagination for that, but you must stick to the facts. As a writer, you can use your imagination and create a different world.
Yes. And why did you start to write books, even though you were already completely into journalism?
The book I'm writing now is actually about TV news. So it's again kind of like, it's non-fiction. It's my memories and my experiences during that time. But I have to use the imagination in order to make it like a story.
Okay.
In the sense I can say, I went into work. I sat at my desk. I have to make it in a way that people are interested.
Yes, correct.
So in the 30 years, television news, which I worked in, changed so much. Like I told you, we started with those huge cameras. And we used to have, I don't know if you've seen them, those big OB vans. They're like huge trucks, which if we had to broadcast live, those trucks had to come with us. So you had to have parking, you have to have the road.
Yeah.
And before going live, when I did live elections back in 1989, the truck had to be parked there the previous day. We'd practice audio, we'd practice video. It was much more complicated. And it's changed so much. Like now with this, you can, with the phone, you can do a live report. You can do a live report. You can, if needed, I can do a live interview with you to Delhi, just like that, sitting right here, which was something which was so impossible in earlier years. So technically it's changed. So I'm writing a little bit about that, but also about the way the content has changed. You're much too young to remember, but In the old days of Doordarshan, when Doordarshan was the only channel, it would be just straightforward news. The Prime Minister said this, the Minister said that, this is this. It was just straightforward. Then news became private and it changed a lot. So I'm writing about that as well. So,
wow. And could you tell a few of some impactful stories that have affected you throughout your journey?
Quite a few stories have actually made a big difference. In the sense, I covered the tsunami in 2004. Whoa. And we just left from Bangalore to the coast, to Chennai and to Pondicherry, Kadalur. And I saw people who were just stunned because their home had been washed away. The wave that had come in was maybe about this high.
Wow.
So it had washed away property, damaged houses, and washed away people. I met people who were saying they couldn't find the grandchild, who couldn't find it. Was so just the shock of that made a big impact on me. And I went to the school. It was a school for children who had no families. It was a school for orphans. And many of the refugees from the tsunami were coming to stay with those little boys. And those little boys looked after the refugees. They had no families themselves. They were dependent on themselves, but they looked after the families, the children of the families. So it was like, wow. I mean, at a time of trouble, how people can find the goodness in themselves. That had a big impact on me.
So thank you so much, ma'am. That's all for today, guys. Don't forget, this is not the end. This is the start of the success. Thank you, ma'am.
All the very best for your podcast studio, all the very best. And I'm hoping lots of wonderful conversations happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.